Trade Guitars is giving away this Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul to one of you. How to enter? Subscribe to Play and Trade Guitars on YouTube, and we'll give it away when we hit 50,000 subscribers. Hey, welcome back to Play and Trade Guitars. I'm John, that's Zach behind the camera, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it. Continuing our look at the best-selling guitars from Gibson and Epiphone today focusing on Gibson. We're talking SG and we're talking P90s, and that means we're going to be looking at the Gibson SG Special at $15.99 USD. This lovely Gibson case we will unlatch, give you a first look, we'll put it on the bench, take it apart, talk full specs before we plug it in and play it, which of course is my favorite part. At the top, if you're in the market for any new guitar gear, any new gear, use our purchase link down in the description. We partnered with Zounds to make that super easy for you to get new gear with fast free shipping and no credit payment plans that makes getting new gear super easy. We also have that Gleam giveaway link for our Les Paul from the custom shop that we'll be giving away when we hit 50,000 subscribers. It's coming soon. Thanks to all of you. Without further ado, Zach, let's get down on the ground, flip these latches, and take a look at the SG Special from Gibson in a beautiful ebony finish. All right, nice high quality Gibson hardshell case. We'll flip these latches and take a look at what is one of my favorite finishes. Look at this gloss ebony finish on this Gibson SG Special. Absolutely beautiful. I'll get it up and out of the case here. Made famous by players like Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, Pete Townsend, and Santana. And SG with P90s has that great bright sparkling tone that you get from P90s with that nice warm rounded bass, especially in neck position. The SG was the redesign of Les Paul that happened in 1960, and when they had the SG Standard and the SG Custom, they also introduced the single P90 SG Junior and the intermediate range SG Special. SG Special hallmarks will be two P90 pickups, wraparound tailpiece, a bound fretboard with dot inlays, and these really nice Clusen style Gibson Deluxe double line tuners with the white buttons, which I think are always a nice vintage touch. The old ones wore out all the time, so if you can find a complete set of these, they're usually worth a lot of money from the original era. But SG is just a nice lightweight guitar. It's thinner, it's just a mahogany body with that mahogany neck, fast playing slim 60s neck with full access all the way up to the 22 frets on this guitar. Everybody loves the horns, and this is a whole lot like the guitar that Tony Iommi would have played on those earliest Black Sabbath recordings. Of course, Gibson has his own model now, the Tony Iommi Monkey, which is $23.99, so a good question to ask today, is it a better value to get the regular SG Special at $15.99, which is a pretty good price from Gibson these days. Let's put it on the bench, take it apart, and talk full specs before we plug it in and play it. So the SG Special was introduced in 1961 alongside that redesigned Les Paul that came in a few iterations like I talked about. We'll start at the top of the headstock and give you a full breakdown of the features of this SG Special. Up at the top you'll have the Gibson open book headstock with the gold screened Gibson on the top. You'll have these Clusen style double line Gibson Deluxe tuners with the white buttons, a nice vintage throwback feel to this guitar. It's going to feature a slimmer 60s style neck, which is fast playing. It's a mahogany neck, 22 frets. SG Special had an upgrade always of having a bound rosewood fretboard. The piece of rosewood on this guitar in particular is beautiful. Nice dark piece of rosewood with some beautiful streaking. You have these acrylic dot inlays, also characteristic of an SG Special. 22 frets, and when you get down to the body, you can check out this really nice gloss black finish, which I like. This has got the vintage style small guard, which I really like. There's also iterations that have the bat wing, which is the full guard, but I prefer, actually just personal preference, I like this small guard and then a pair of two P90s, which are key to the sound of the Special. And then we have also another key of the SG Special and SG Junior is going to be the wraparound tailpiece. So it's adjustable basically through these two adjustment screws, which allow you to take the bridge either side and also height adjustable, but it's not a two-pneumatic bridge, which gives you as precise of intonation. So it's kind of one of the the quirky characteristics. That wraparound tailpiece is cool, but it only gives you so much accuracy when it comes to intonating the guitar, kind of part of its charm too. Standard set of controls, volume, volume, tone, tone, and that SG style toggle switch. And I've said before, but it's kind of interesting, all the controls on an SG, you'll notice, are pushed way back on the far bottom right bout. That's because when the SG was designed, it would have sported a vibrola, and they needed this rail estate here to make way, so the controls got pushed off to the right. When we flip the guitar over, we'll take off the electronics cover, look at all the wiring under the hood. So let's get the strings out of the way so we can talk pickups and electronics and go from there before we plug it in and play it. Remember, if you're in the market for this guitar or any gear, please consider using our purchase link. That supports our channel directly when you buy gear using our purchase link down in the description. Thanks to all of you who have. Let's get to work on getting these strings off. So as I move the stop piece, the wraparound tailpiece out of the way, this is the style of tailpiece which was used on the SG in the 60s, which they attempted to overcome some of the shortfalls of just a traditional wraparound tailpiece, which would have no compensation, by having these ridges. And these will give you at least a place for the string to sit, which in theory should help compensate the intonation a little bit. With the strings out of the way, you can get another look at this beautiful piece of rosewood. I'm definitely impressed with this one. Nice binding in this one. I'm not feeling any cosmetic flaws really anywhere on the guitar. You can see the fret nibs. Let's go ahead and get some neck measurements. Nut reading 1.68 inches, first fret at 0.81 inches, up to a 12th fret of 0.91 inches. SG by design is going to have a thin piece of mahogany as a body. It also means it's a lighter guitar. Thickness of this one comes in at 1.32 inches. So the P90s represent old school pickup technology that was used in Gibsons until the humbucker was developed in 1957. And the way a P90 is mounted is actually just with these two long screws, and it's under spring tension to make it height adjustable. So depending on the height of these screws will give you the height of the pickup itself. And P90s are super responsive to the height differences. Very small incremental movements in the height, particularly on the neck pickup side, give a pronounced difference in tones. And we'll pull these off, and I'll give you a look at how they're mounted. Two long screws basically screw it into, and then the pickup itself also has a plastic cover that can come off. Here's a look at the P90 pickup itself. This one in neck is a Rhythm P90 soap bar pickup. And those are the two springs which apply the tension to give it height adjustability. And then you've just got a metal plate down in the neck pickup pocket. Same with the bridge, where those two screws mount the pickup to the guitar. Here's a look with the springs still on there, and there's a lead P90 soap bar down here at bridge. There's going to be a long neck tenon underneath this SG. They need a long neck tenon on an SG because the neck meets the guitar all the way up at the 22nd fret. It takes a little bit more reinforcement because that can potentially be a weaker joint. But at least it gives you access all the way up, unencumbered, to get up at that 22nd fret and wail away. All right, flipping on our multimeter, we'll get a reading on these P90s. Bridge reads in at 8.0. Neck at 7.7, 3.9 combined. Flipping the guitar over, we'll take a look at the electronics. All right, lifting up the control cavity cover, see the hand-wired Gibson pots. These are 500K pots. Nice upgrade here with the orange drop capacitors, high quality stuff. Switchcraft jack and three-way toggle. Looks nice under the hood. Get a nice look at that mahogany wood grain too underneath that black gloss finish. All right, a big positive to many people is the weight of an SG is going to be a lot less than your average Les Paul. So let's get a weight. Wow, this one clocks in at 6 pounds, 3 ounces. So we're looking at just under 6¼ pounds, so very lightweight. Flipping the guitar around for an initial reaction. SGs always have such a nice resonance that you can just feel in your left hand while you're playing. The whole body just feels like it's like one big, like, record player needle or something. The whole thing just wants to vibrate. It always feels great. And I'm super excited to plug it in. It's got the slim 60s style neck, so you'll definitely notice that it's not as hefty of a neck, and it's meant to play fast, mean, loud, all the way up here. Without bumping your hand in anything, including a wood block like the neck heel of a Les Paul, or obviously the single cut bump of a Les Paul. And that was to compete with Fender back in the day, who was outselling Gibson like crazy with their Fender Stratocaster. And this was Gibson's take on the double cut. They had, of course, done a Les Paul Special double cut, but that was discontinued when they discontinued the Les Paul, redesigned it as the SG, or solid guitar. And in its various iterations, including the SG Special, you have these famous horns born in 1960, 1961. With that said, at this point, I'm just excited to plug it in and play it. I love the sound of a P90. Check out our comparison video looking at Les Paul humbuckers and P90s. And soon to come will be an SG comparison of humbuckers and P90s that I'm super excited for. Let's plug it in. Remember that if you're in the market for gear, use our purchase link, because when you buy using our link, it supports our channel directly. As I plug it in, we're going to look at direct clean tones. Then we'll get a riff cranked up and put it behind a track. I'll fire it up with a Fender Deluxe Reverb amp and a few pedals and let it sing. I can't wait. Let's head over and plug it in. right, the SG Special is one of my favorites because I love P90s. I love the lightweight design of an SG. This one balances perfectly. The neck feels fantastic with the slim taper. If you're into the slim taper, this is like the perfect example of one where I think it just plays so beautifully. I love the binding. That black gloss just looks fantastic. If you're in the market for this guitar or any other gear, remember to use our purchase link because that supports our guitar directly. But I'll give you kind of my top reasons why I think this might be a must-own guitar. Number one, it's gonna give you like that Black Sabbath Tony Iommi vibe, but it's $15.99 instead of $23.99 for the Tony Iommi. Now we'll bring a demo on the Tony Iommi Gibson to see if it's worth the extra upcharge. But at the end of the day, Tony Iommi was recording with a P90 loaded SG Special. You can pick one up from Gibson for $15.99. This one looks awesome. The particular piece of rosewood is another top on this one, is a beautiful reason. Feels fantastic in the hands. Fret action is great. They pleck all the frets. You can watch our Gibson factory tour to see how precise they get with Gibson fretwork now. I think it's awesome. And just everything down to the vintage vibe, the old Kluson Deluxe, button tuners, the small guard, pick guard, everything looks and feels great on this guitar. I had a blast playing it, and this is like less than 6¼ pounds. So for all those reasons, I think this is a great example of an SG Special that I absolutely can endorse. Drop a comment and let us know what you think of the SG Special, and let us know which guitars you're in the market for. We're also going to be bringing a great look at the Epiphone SGs with P90s and the Epiphone Les Pauls with P90s. Check those videos out too. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm John, that's Zach, and this is Play and Trade Guitars, where we play it and trade it.